audit controls, audit histories, in-cloud editing, reporting. Business needs solved by our backup technology, obviously disaster recovery, business continuity archiving, whereas in Collaborate, we're focusing far more on collaboration and sharing. Primary audience with backup is generally business owners and risk managers and IT staff. So if you think about who you sell your backup technology to today, your downstream point of contact is generally an IT guy or perhaps a business owner in a small business context. Again, Collaborate is a very significant departure from that. Everybody in the organization will end up using Collaborate. So when you go to sell this to your customers, even right now that might be a 50-person company that you sell SOS backup to, but you'll generally just sell it to the IT department. Whereas with Collaborate, what you'll want to do is sell a 50-user license to that organization so that every user in the organization is using this technology. So again, that follows on from this key usage concept point that I made a minute ago. And in terms of what it replaces, again, with backup, it's usually on-premise backup that we're replacing. Whereas with Collaborate, we're replacing email attachments, you send it, with SharePoint in some cases, FTP servers, and then, of course, we're going to be competing head-to-head with the Box.nets and Dropboxes of the world. All right, so what does Collaborate mean to me as a partner? First and foremost, an opportunity to be on the front end of what is yet another booming cloud-driven market. So collaboration and online storage is an ancillary product to the core backup product you're already reselling from SOS. It's an easy adjacency. What I mean by that is this is an easy upsell for all the customers you are already selling SOS backup technology to. You should be able to then bundle this into those contracts. It allows you to provide a tool that really becomes a true asset and productivity driver within your customers' environments. Obviously adds revenue stream to the business that you've built around offering managed services, continues to build your brand awareness around cloud-based managed services that you're offering your customers.
And really one of the major keys to this is the word recurring. And we'll get into this one a little deeper when we talk about the pricing models and the ROI associated with that, but that's a huge element. And just the incremental recurring revenue that's associated with this as just another intuitive product offer within either your suite of bundled offerings that you're extending as a managed service, or even if it's productized with your online backup as a separate product. It's just a great way to add on that additional thing that you're seeing monthly revenues month in and month out. So it's really huge.
Yeah, a couple of questions here on the line. Thomas says your example is file.doc. Does Word support multiple users editing at the same time? Thomas, I'm not sure if you mean does Collaborate support multiple users editing at the same time, in which case the answer would be yes. And then another question from Thomas, does it work more like source control? The person checks out, edits, and checks back in. For the technical people on the line, think Subversion, CVS for the masses over the cloud. It's nowhere near as technical from a usage standpoint as a typical lock-based source code management system. It does all of that work around complexity and version management in the background, so it's very much focused on typical business users who otherwise would find the complexity of an SVN or a CVS to be probably too high to allow them for easy adoption of the tool. One of the things you'll see in the demo is just how easy this tool is to pick up and start using. I started using it nearly accidentally, and now I can't live without it. And we've been using it here heavily in our internal SOS environments since the product's been ready for market.
There's another couple of quick questions just to field. Keith has a question regarding how is data distributed for global access and speed. Example, a user in China is uploading to a server. Keith, we utilize the same global infrastructure network that we do for our online backup side. We have data centers throughout the world, heavy in the United States, but also across Europe and also Australia. So the data would be uploaded into one of those servers depending on the geographic location of the account. Keith also asks, he's not an existing partner. Well, we'll have to cure that, Keith. but you would like to have a network with some existing partners to hear about their experiences. At the end of this, I'll give you some contact information for Damon Morris, who is our account manager. He can certainly facilitate introductions into our partner community, so you can get any or all questions answered through that channel as you wish.
Jerry asks, would the data used in Collaborate be kept and or stored in a different location from the backup data from a DR and business continuity standpoint? So Jerry, generally at SOS we always store multiple copies of data on our back-end platform. Collaborate's built on our same back-end cloud platform that our backup technology is. So all of the same rules and business rules around our back-end platform would apply to you. So for example, if you're a Canadian partner and you don't want data to leave Canada, well, we can facilitate that. Similarly in Australia and the United Kingdom, etc. So I hope that answers that question. All right, well, pivoting back to the presentation, what does Collaborate mean to my users, to your downstream customers? Well, first and foremost, it's going to replace a lot of the point solutions and hacked together tools that are currently being used in small businesses across America. And when I say small businesses, I'm talking up to the 500 user kind of company. Generally above that, and even at that size, there are already formal document management platforms in place. So where this is a real sweet spot is anything from, say, a 2 to 3 person business up to that 3 or 4 to 500 employee company that doesn't already have a formal doc management system in place. So in terms of the types of things we're going to be addressing, so email attachments become a thing of the past when you're using Collaborate. We've got an Outlook connector which will grab that file, suck it up into the cloud, and then auto-link to that content within Outlook. So there's no work to be done around pushing that content to Collaborate. It's all completely automated. Editing and review of documents in the cloud. One of the great things we're going to see is the ability to just preview all of my documents straight there in a browser or do it from an iPad or a mobile device without ever having to download content. So a lot of your document review and access can actually just happen in the browser. Avoiding program compatibility issues. The whole platform is content production tool agnostic. What I mean by that is that Apple's just announced iCloud and it's wedded to the Apple infrastructure. Microsoft's rolling out Office 365 and it's wedded to the Office infrastructure. Google's got Google Docs, but you really have to adopt Google Docs effectively. Collaborate is driven from the file system up. So it virtualizes that file system and it moves it to the cloud, meaning you can use any type of technology that you want. So you can put any types of documents in. It doesn't matter if you're using a Linux box, a Mac, or a Windows environment, or whether you've got heterogeneous content stores across different locations. It's going to work with Collaborate. Question here from Thomas. I needed this 6 months ago. When do I get to try it? Thomas, you're going to get it right after this presentation. We're going to give you the details on how to get your very own free Collaborate instance for your use. And Thomas also asks, would the user be able to revert to a previous version? Would this require a separate administrative login to accomplish? No, so rollback and version management is super slick. You can roll back to previous versions. Just before we started this presentation, Derek made the comment that it was super cool to be able to see the way this presentation had morphed internally here at the company as we'd worked on it.
Yeah, and more on that as far as versioning and the management of versioning and the tracking of who's doing what, to what, and when. There's an update section, a bit like your news feed in Facebook or LinkedIn, that gives you a complete list of all the users, if you're from an administrative standpoint, of all users. And from a user perspective, if you're collaborating with any number of people on different folders, you'll get an update in a newsfeed list that shows you who did what, if they added a comment to a project or a file, or if they updated a new version, or if they even downloaded a previous version. So, and in the demo, we'll go through a lot of what this looks like. So we'll actually show you exactly the trail that Ken mentioned about, how we all collaborated on this presentation together. Even though we're in the same office, it was much faster and easier for us to all work on the same presentation together using this tool than walking back and forth with USB keys or sending by email.
Right.
It was much more organized.
So here are the things we did not do. We did not share USB keys or flash memory drives. We did not email this document to each other. We did not have to worry about multiple versions or rename the file every time we changed something to keep version sanity across the 4 or 5 people who participated on this. We did not use a network drive. We didn't use an X or Z drive on the network here. We did not use our Microsoft Small Business Server. We did not use FTP. So all of those types of point solutions, which are prolific they remain prolific in small business computing, get replaced by this technology, which I think is quite, A, it's a big revenue driver, B, you're going to see it's a super easy user adoption cycle for your customers, and for you, it reduces the headaches enormously of managing IT environments for your customers. Question?